All parties in the matter of Teat versus Miller Hilburn. Step forward.
Marcus Teat is suing his neighbors, Carol Miller and her tenant, Patrick Hilburn, for damages to a fence and harassment.
Mr. Teat, how long have you been neighbors to the defendants?
About 12 years, since 2005.
And I assume you both own your homes?
Correct. Yes.
I gather from your complaint, sir, that you have not had a pleasant relationship with the defendants, and that's been going on for a long time.
Yes, Your Honor.
Irritating things, you refer to them here. I'm not getting into them. I'm not getting into whether a year ago they threw rabbit carcasses over your fence, and that was annoying. I'm just not getting into that. What you ask for is you ask for the defendants to share the cost in replacing or repairing a fence that you both built together about 8 years ago.
Yes, Your Honor.
And when you built the fence that separated your property 8 years ago, had there already been a fence there?
Yes, Your Honor.
And it had rotted?
Yes, Your
Had
Honor.
to be replaced. How long have you lived in your house?
Since the early 80s.
And other than replacing it 8 years ago with the plaintiff, had you ever replaced that fence before?
No.
Now you say that the fence is rotted again.
Yes, Your Honor.
And you want them to split the cost. Tell me why.
Well, I informed Miss Miller that as long as the dirt was in contact with that fence, it's going to rot out again. So I informed her. I said, look, the only way you're going to solve this is you're going to have to build a retaining wall to keep that dirt off of this fence. I said, that's your property. You're on the uphill side. What you need to do is control your property. She told me she wasn't
She wasn't going to build a retaining wall.
right. She's not responsible for the dirt.
Just a second. Just for my own information, how much do you think it will cost to put in a new fence?
Concrete retaining wall, I'd say a couple $1,000s.
At least. So you want her to spend several $1,000s to protect your fence.
To control her property, not protect the fence.
When you say control her property, you mean when it rains, the rain brings the dirt down and hits the fence?
Both, Your Honor.
What do you mean both?
Because what they're doing, the way they water, they throw a water hose out there in the yard, just turn it on, let it run.
Well, that would be foolish. That would probably be just a foolish thing to do since you paid for this fence.
That's what they do, Your Honor.
Okay. May I see photographs just of this
Yes,
area
Your
so
Honor.
that I could make a more reasoned judgment? And if the defendants have photographs, I'd like to take a look at them too.
Your photographs?
Okay, so this is the fence, and is this their property or yours?
That is their property, Your Honor.
Does everyone have the same wooden fence that's in your neighborhood?
Well, no, on the other side, there's a cyclone fence. On the other side of her property, it's a cyclone fence.
Okay, it's a metal cyclone fence.
Yes.
So it's a metal cyclone fence that won't rot out.
Yes.
Okay. And what would prevent you, if you wanted to, Mr. Teat, from building a fence on your property, if you wanted to be fenced
Right.
away from them, in some material other than a wood fence?
Well,
Green
what
in
had happened,
between?
Your Honor, is the dirt. See, she's quite a bit higher than I am on her side of the fence. So it would still be an erosion problem because she's quite a bit higher.
Just a second. They didn't do anything to their property to purposely cause water erosion onto your property. What you want them to do is you want them to take active steps now to change the topography of their property. You bought your property knowing your property was below and their property was higher.
Yes, I did.
So, and we know that water runs downhill. So you know that that happens. So I would say, since you don't get along with them and they're not going to be cooperative with you with regard to replacing this fence with one that will not erode owing to water, then you build a fence and you build it from a non-eroding product and build it on your side. Period. End of discussion.
So if they're purposely like throwing a water hose out there and just turning on the water and let it run all night and all day
Oh, I don't know
still?
whether they're doing that, sir. Mr. Teat, I do not believe these people who don't look like psychotics to me, in order to spite you, will pay for water and let it run all night just for the purposes of annoying you and eroding a common fence that they help pay for. Mr. Teat.
Yes.
Build your own fence on your property. Build a non-eroding one. They're not going to pay for it. We're done. Thank you.